Hello, welcome to Jeff venting about his personal life.
Man, it really is the middle. What was it? Middle age is 30.
No, middle age is like 35, midlife crisis.
Yeah. You just hit that age, and then you're like, oh no, I hurt, and why do I hurt? This doesn't make any sense. Oh, fuck, I hate it. I hate everything.
I go to a doctor for the first time in like 8 years. 8 years, maybe actually longer.
8 whole years?
Yeah. And it's like,
damn.
It's like, hey, I go to a doctor for the first time in 8 years, and it's probably like, oh man, I'm also going to my dentist for like the first time in 2 years. Hello and welcome to Black Man Games Podcast, by the way. That's Josh.
Before we talk about getting older.
Yeah. I don't think we discussed about like what we did on our game this week either, so like that's fun.
Hooray.
Here's a hint. Jeff worked on menu, Josh did nothing, and everyone was happy.
You know, although, funny enough, I'm still working on stupid bones. I swear, bones and rigging are the curse of me. I hate them so much. They're never straightforward. And I did find some videos that were helpful, but man, I have to keep going back to those videos over and over because fucking hate them. They're, again, never straightforward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, anyways. We have to talk about some things, Josh. Talk about the...
Do we?
Yeah, I saw Sonic 3 last weekend.
Oh. Did Shadow whip out a gun?
Shadow does whip out a gun. Okay.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So Keanu Reeves should not play Shadow the Hedgehog. I'm just going to say that right now.
That's what I've been hearing over and over.
Yeah.
It's like he's sure you hear the character and he's serious, but then that's it.
And it's like, man, it's not like Idris Elba playing Knuckles where you're like, oh, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
This is like, oh, that's just John Wick. Oh, it's literally just John Wick. Oh, it's just fucking John Wick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like you're watching this happen, you're like, huh. Jim Carrey's Eggman is like really played out.
Does he have like a dance number by himself?
He has a dance number with his grandfather, who is also him.
Oh, that's funny.
It's really, really depressing because it's like he's playing two different characters in the entire show, and it's like, man, Jim Carrey was perfect for this role. He was really good, but like this one is like, okay, like, can we stop with Eggman, please? Like, this is done. Like, this is stupid. Him as Dr. Robotnik is perfect.
Yeah.
And the humans that are like, so like throughout the entire, like this feels like a love letter to like all of the Sonic fans who are like, man, I watched the movies are really well done, and like they have like the humans, and the humans are like very integral, and it makes like a bunch of callbacks to the rest of the show, the previous two movies, and it's like I really enjoyed this. This is a good show. This is a good movie. I think Paramount, like the takeaways I mainly got from it is like, it's okay. It's like it's a good family movie. And Paramount can do Dragon Ball Z and Gundam choreography very fine. The effects are really well done. And like, there's a
you think that?
Go ahead.
You think that like the story of Sonic is canon with the rest of Sonic?
No,
not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that? Is gonna say? Is there quality? There's at least quality to everything, but it doesn't count in the canon of Sonic. But I'm guessing probably not.
Yeah.
It's probably just his own fictional universe or something.
Mm-hmm.
Although I have to wonder, when does Rouge the Bat get introduced? Is that in the next movie?
Jesus Christ. The next one is Metal Sonic.
Ooh, that's cool.
And
then Rouge the Bat.
well,
we need
like,
tits.
Here's the thing: it's Amy and Metal Sonic, and it's like okay, I cannot physically go to any more of these movies. I do not want to keep supporting this franchise. Like, I'm sorry. Like, this is. You had me for 3 and now I'm done, and it's like let's just end it. Let's just get it over with. It's done. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're like, hey, like here's the sequel hit, and it's like, how about like we end it and just say, and they lived happily ever after. I understand like this movie makes like loads of money.
It keeps beating out other movies.
Yeah, but it's like every single time it's like, man, I went and saw the Sonic movie. Okay, was there anything else in the theater? No.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the thing. It's like, what's the other movies in the theater? And you go, garbage, trash. Yeah,
it's
garbage.
Birds of fucking Prey. And you're like,
it's garbage, trash, poop,
Mufasa.
Or Sonic. Poop. That's a lot of poop.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Mufasa. Fucking. Man. Literally, the first movie was. If they just did an HD re-release of the first movie of that fucking Lion King animated.
If they were just like, hey, we're not remaking animated movies.
Or hell, just again. Go get the cells. I know they have them in their fucking vault somewhere. Get the cells, scan them up again, get them in HD, and then bring it back to people going like, hey, you want to watch this in theaters again? I bet that would go over gangbusters. And people are like, oh, look how great this movie. Or, I mean, there is a few scenes that it does look like, oh no, that looks like a 2D plane coming at us in a 3D motion. And you're like, uh-oh. But other than that, you'd be like, oh, it's a movie's so good, you don't care, kinda. You'd be like, oh, this looks great on a big screen.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Man. Stupid fucking real life Lion King sucks. Like, I don't know who in the hell keeps green lighting this shit, but it's like, you don't need to do that.
Well, Disney has lost like all of their ideas.
They can get new ideas. It's just that for whatever reason, I think it's, again, my hypothesis is because of the internet and nostalgia. It's absolutely ruining the creative space for giant for giant companies and stuff like that, simply because you don't have to work in order to find an idea that people like in the first place. So when you figure out, hey, we got all this data saying people like this thing, then go, well, we'll just copy the thing. We don't want to have to make anything new.
Yeah.
Because why would you make anything new? That's dangerous. But it's like, but you have to in order to stay what's called fresh in any way. Like, you have to take the dive in another pool just so you know that if that pool is even remotely great to jump into. Like, my God, I hate it. If all these companies just died in a fire, it'd be great. Just throw them in a fire.
No. No. God fucking damn it, man. No.
I want this.
You know what's happening, right?
Yeah, like that fucking dirty. What was it? The Dirty 30s Electric Boogaloo is probably going to happen.
Oh my fucking God, man. No, the fires, man. The fucking fires.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Okay. Bro.
I mean that also doesn't help.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's so. Here's my opinion on this. It's like, okay, the reason why we constantly are getting remakes and sequels and stuff like that is because it's like, oh, well, why would we risk creating something new? What if it fails?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, then it fails, and then we just make something new. But why would we do that when we can just make like a new product? And it has gotten to the point now where it's like, okay, you're actively killing old franchises and making them worse.
Yep.
Like, this is the thing with like Saw that's like really like hilarious. Is people are like, oh man, Saw fucking sucks. It's fucking terrible.
I mean, the first movie was like
Great.
Kind of, yeah, it was like, oh, it has a kind of a message, kind of, oh, who's like, where's this creepy guy doing all this creepy shit? Oh, it turns out he was the dead guy all along.
Oh my god. And then now it's like, man, there's an entire mythos and religion behind it, and you're like, what the fuck? And it's like, okay, this isn't like Star Trek where it's like, hey, like, this is like world building beyond its wildest dreams. This is fucking a serial killer drama. And you're like, man, this is dumb. And like, they just don't want to make new shit. And they refuse because they're like, well, why would we risk the money? And it's like, I don't know, maybe because it's the best thing going forward. Maybe that's the best thing for like what everyone wants going forward.
Maybe. Fire. Throw it on fire. Fire. Malibu's on fire. Fire.
So LA is on fire.
Yeah. Of course. And then Canada is helping, Mexico is helping.
And because California is the center of the universe, it's everyone else's problem now. Like, everybody right now is like, oh my god, like California's on fire, and it's like,
yeah. I mean, most of that is Malibu, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like just the ritzy parts of Malibu. Like, it sucks that they don't have houses. I agree, but at the same time, it's like, I'm sure that's like their summer homes or what have you.
right.
So it's like, I'm not sure if they lost too much. The only thing that sucks is that
like
insurance.
people who lost everything.
Yeah, there's actual people who lost everything, and also the insurance companies. They can go suck as many dicks or as stars in the sky. So like, seriously.
So the insurance companies is hilarious because like this ties into the topic, because the reason this entirely happened is like the California government failed so fucking hard.
Yeah,
and they're like, no, it's Trump. It's Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. It's all climate change's fault. It's all this fault. It's all this person's fault. And you're like, why can't the firefighters put out fires with the fire hydrants? Well, there's no water in the fire hydrants because of climate change. And you're like, but you're the government. You have every opportunity to fill up the fire hydrants and the water reservoirs to make sure that this doesn't happen. Well, it's climate change's fault. And it's like, I understand that you can blame climate change as much as you want, but this is not fucking helping.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so did you guys raise the fire budget to compensate for this stuff? Is there somebody else to blame? No, absolutely not. We actually decreased our fire budget. And you're like, but why? Well, it's everyone else's problem, and everyone else needs to be doing more. And it's like, I don't know if you know this, but
you're the government.
You're the one who has to fucking do this. So the insurance companies, in their fucking infinite wisdom, was like, hey, man, there's going to be a fire here, and it's looking really bad. They're doing literally nothing. Not even the bare minimum. Nothing.
Yep.
So there's going to be a fire here. and they're like, we're going to lose all of our money and go bankrupt. What do we do? Well, fucking pull out. Okay, so now everybody lost their fire insurance.
Yep.
Because, sorry. Everybody lost their fire insurance because literally the government could not do the bare minimum. And when the insurance companies went to them and said, hey, can you raise the interest rates on us so that way then we can actually make money and produce everything that we need to do? And they go, California goes, no.
Nah.
And it's like, you realize that this is going to cost us money, and if something bad happens, it's going to cost us millions of dollars to the point of where we're bankrupt. And Gavin Newsom goes, no. And it's like, okay. So, like, at a certain point, like, this entire thing is like, okay, where does the buck stop? Does it stop with the Alberta premier? Is it our fault that, like the Alberta premier, like, didn't do enough in order to protect California? Well, she sent water bombers.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Mexico's government's problem that, like, California can't get their shit together? No. So is it Donald Trump's fault, who hasn't been in office for, like, the past 8 years, actively told the government, hey, do these things because it's going to get really bad? Please? They sued him for it. It's like, no. Whose fault is this? Oh, it's Gavin fucking Newsom's. And it's like, at a certain point, you're like, I can't help but, like, understand why you're being pissed off. And it's like, it really sucks for everyone there, because there's not a whole lot I can do. But yeah, it's entirely shitty. I feel really bad for everyone there.
Yeah. It just feels like they have to. This is like a thing I've been seeing over and over again. Is things have to get absurdly worse before it gets any better. Mm-hmm. Which I really wish it wasn't necessarily true, but man, it's just over and over. It was just, you have to go through the shit before you get anything good to come out of it. So I guess they're going to have to learn the very hardest of ways that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't do it this way at all. Well, and maybe you should like increase the premium thing or whatever, like for insurance or whatever.
Interest rates.
The interest rates, like, it makes sense.
Like, well, the thing is like, hey, man, like, you cannot sit there and expect everybody to just give you. You cannot expect. Okay, here's what I should be saying. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that at a certain fucking point, it's not the fucking government's fault. But, like, right now, it's like you've had every single opportunity to stop this. You have had every single fucking opportunity to take a moment and look in the fucking mirror and go, it's pretty bad right now. But what are you doing? But what instead of, like, doing that, here's what they did. Oh, let's do jack fucking shit, decrease our fire budget, and then while we have a bunch of mentally ill patients on our fucking, like, lands, let's just fucking, like, go off and do something else. You have the mayor of fucking California going, I'm going to Ghana. Why? Well,
shit, this shit's going bad, and I don't want to be here.
No, Bye. It was even worse than that. It was, Well, you see, they have the first woman prime minister, and it's like, why are you going? Well, I want to be there for history. That nobody gives a shit. This is far worse. Like, like it's just every single thing is canonical failure after canonical failure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you can feel sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like, I don't know.
Well, I was going to say to absolutely derail to something else is that the video games done quick happened again this year.
Oh man, what happened this year?
No, actually, so far everything was peachy and everything worked out. They actually have a high production crew this time, for the past couple years. So all the cringe shit you think was going to happen before, like the years before, they don't happen anymore. So if anything, kind of boring. But they have raised like 2.5 mil for, I think it's Doctors Without Borders.
Yep.
I think.
All that's going to California.
Yep. And also the video games done quick always have like interesting segments for when people playing video games, you know, the fastest they can for speed runs. And one of the speed running was speed running Crazy Taxi sandbox mode, or no, it's not sandbox mode. It was forget that. It's basically play these mini games the best as you can in your abilities mode. And there's like 12 of them of these mini games that are all like you have to be on top of your skills in order to finish them. And of course, they're speed running through this. But as they're speed running through this mode, they have a live band making the background tracks for every time he's starting up a map. So it's starts up a map. You hear the beginning parts of basically Offspring over and over. And sometimes you get like to like the middle parts or the full song on one of the levels. And it was actually like, oh, this is kind of cool. The only thing I mean, it's just a bunch of people in their spare time, you know, putting the show together for a donation drive type of thing. So it's like, so people bring in whatever they can for their skills. But I was going to say that the guitarist, not the greatest singer in the world when he was doing his backup singing.
Well, he tried, right?
Yeah, he tried, but man, it was like the singer that they had. He was fine. It wasn't mind blowing, but it was like he was doing it.
He was okay.
But then the guitarist, when he's doing his backup singing, I was like, oh my god, please put more feeling into. Could you put a little more feeling? And then redneck. I'm like, oh god. I'm like, oh no.
Oh no, what are we doing here?
But it was still a fun segment regardless. And it was like, well, it was a very neat segment they had. And this is very, if basically any speed run that you think is going to be remotely interesting, I think you should go check out the video game or they're called GDQ.
Mm-hmm. Games done quick.
Games done quick. And just take a look at their freaking live stream / re-uploads on YouTube and just see what they have, the cool stuff there. And I think there's a list of like interesting their interesting stuff they've done on the show. And like how like it's kind of like, oh, it's really cool of like how they're trying to, you know, push the limit of entertainment while doing speed running and stuff. So it was, as I can say, it was fun. It was fun. To go this year, they made a lot of money. It was fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Right now, I'm just trying to quickly see if there's see if they have. Well, I think today is their last day. Or yesterday? Probably yesterday. But yeah, like the whole show, like, again, like, it's better. It gets better and better every year. They have high production this time, or like a high production for the past couple of years. And it's like, yeah, it's like, it's cool. Like, go check it out. It's great.
Yeah.
And speaking about video games, have you played video games?
I did play video games. I played some good video games.
Oh.
I also played a bad video game.
Oh, no.
I played more Dragon Age.
Oh.
It's good. I enjoy Dragon Age.
Oh.
Dragon Age is fun.
Oh.
Okay. I also played other video games like Balatro. I actually have to look and check my activity this week. What the fuck is Catboy Zoo? Wow, this looks like a game for you, Josh. I'm looking at my activity because I'm like, hey, what did I play this week? And I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, no.
I played Balatro Banana.
Oh.
So that's about it. And our Mellow Butt Slappers.
Yes. The classic gaming.
I slapped some butts, let me tell you.
Slappity slap slap.
Yeah, it was. Dragon Age was fun. Balatro was fun. Those are my PC games right now. Dragon Age is something where it's like probably going to be. I'm probably going to play through and finish. But the other game I played was I got my Xbox back.
Oh, nice.
So one of the things that like I've noticed over the past like couple weeks is like oh man, like my Xbox, like I've been like really like salivating. I'm like, I want to play this game. And Indiana Jones is on Game Pass, so I'm like, okay, when is this going to come out? When am I going to get my Xbox back? So I've been counting down the days. Well, the day finally happened. I get it back. I set it up, and I'm like, okay, I got to go take my dog for a run. Take my dog for a run, which turns into a walk because the fucking sidewalks are all icy as fuck.
Yeah.
And I fall down, and I'm like, I don't want to break my leg. So,
yep.
I take my dog for a walk. I'm like, okay. I sit down and I boot it up, and it's I'm not going to say that it's Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is great. It's fine. It's interesting and fun, and it feels like a very good stealth game. And the more I play it, the more I'm like, this feels like it was marketed wrong. Like, really, really wrong. Because, like, when they were showing off the trailers, they were like, oh, yeah, like, don't you think this is cool and stuff like that? And it's like, man, like, it's good. It's fine. But it's like, there's a fucking, like, moment where you're playing the game, and they're like, here's a disguise. And you're like, okay, so this is becoming an Indiana Jones game. It's totally first person. And it's like, man, it feels really good. And it's like, they were like, hey, we're making Indiana Jones for the modern audience. And if they just didn't say that, the game would probably be better. Jeff Gerstmann's review of like, hey, fascist beater 9000. It's like, yeah, most of the enemies are fascists. Which is World War II, if that makes sense. Okay.
I mean, it's World War II, so
yeah. Because God forbid we make a game where you're punching communists. But
punching goddamn Nazis.
Yeah, so you're punching the shit out of Nazis and Nazis, and I gotta say, it feels a lot like a Indiana Jones movie.
That's
So far,
that's good.
I don't know how if it's like 12 hours or so. I don't know if I can do 12 hours of this game. But it's definitely something where it's like I feel like as if like mainlining the story is probably going to hurt a lot more.
Well, I was going to say there's not much of extra content, is there?
So there's entire like open world environments to explore.
Oh,
So it's like you have siloed off areas where it's like, hey, this goes to here, this goes to here, this goes to here. And then you have like entire sections of the game where it's like, hey, FYI, this is an open world area that you can look around. And so it's like a really interesting kind of design and how it's made. There's entire skill trees, or the way they do skill trees is like you look around the environment, you grab a book, and it's a pulp book. So it's like okay, so like how much of this are you guys like looking into George Lucas's stuff? Because George Lucas originally, when he did Indiana Jones, was like he was like, oh yeah, I based it on pulp.
yeah,
And it's like it just feels like as if they were like, we have to make an Indiana Jones game that's really good and fun. And it's like I feel really kind of excited and happy that like Microsoft's making this game. And I feel like as if like if it wasn't an Indiana Jones game, I would be fine with it. But I definitely think that like this is like one of those games where it's like you come in for the name recognition and then you're like, oh, this is a thief game. Oh, okay, I get it now. Controls seem a little bit. The one complaint I will make is like the controls seem a little dodgy sometimes. Where it's like I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out like how to lean.
Why did it take you that long?
Because it was like okay, so like how do I lean? And it's like, well, you have to push this obscure button combination in order to actually do it, where it's like left trigger, and then you push the sticks, and it's like, okay, there's definitely an easier way to do this.
Wait, push in the six?
Yes.
That's not great.
Yeah.
Why is that just not trigger?
Oh, it gets even better. So what does one of the things that Indiana Jones always has on his person?
His whip?
Yeah. Guess what button is his whip?
The Y button.
Right bumper.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Guess what you'd use in order to climb up your whip?
Your joystick?
Left trigger. Left trigger joystick. And it's like, okay.
Is the left trigger supposed to be like active button? This is your active button to do active things?
I don't know, but like here's the thing: is like if that is the biggest complaint of the game, is sometimes the controls seem a little obtuse. That's fine. I don't know, man. Like
it really feels like they're like, okay, when it comes to context sensitive situations, this is the context situation button.
Yeah.
So in this context, you're using this button. And I'm like, that makes sense in my brain. But at the same time, it's like when it comes to like the nuance of what you're doing, like motion of a character or even using a weapon or ability, it should be the same button you used previously. I don't know why you're not doing that again.
Well, like, and it's like I play the game and I'm like, man, this game seems like as if it has like a lot of. This game feels like as if it has a lot of benefits on it that like it just like plays really well. It looks beautiful, and like it's not a bad video game. And then it just feels like as if like everybody in their dog was like, oh yeah, that came out, and then moved on to the day. And it's like okay, hold on here for like let's hold on for 20 fucking seconds here.
Hold on to this railing. Hold on.
Okay, you feel your arm. You feel like you're having a heart attack. Good. the game right now, like it has like the thing issues it has is like why does the game not have like why is this not a success? Why is this game not talked about more? Why does it feel like the only like marketing it got was word of mouth? And it's like okay, is this a Microsoft issue? Because everybody I talk to likes the game and is like, hey, it's okay. There are some people who don't like it. Most notably Mahler. But like the Metacritic score for I have to actually look it up now because I actually wasn't prepared. Indiana Jones is 86 on Metacritic.
Oh.
And it's like the user scores are 8.4.
Huh.
And everybody's like, hey, this game's really well done and it's really well made and it's perfectly fine. Let's look at SteamDB. No, I don't care about Concord.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I hate that game. 48 max. Okay, so it had 12,000 players at release.
Okay.
It has 121 owners K estimate. Okay, now this is an Xbox exclusive on Game Pass. And it just feels like as if like, okay, like nobody said anything about this game. There wasn't a whole lot of talking about it. And it's like, okay, is this game just going to fail? And are we just going to end up in the same situation where another studio goes out of business?
Like it feels like someone's not marketing this game properly.
Like, it feels like as if like the game wasn't marketed at all. And it's like I don't know like if this is a journalist issue, but it definitely feels like a little bit of a journalist issue where it's like Microsoft's like, why would we bother trying? They're not going to give us the benefit of the doubt anyways.
Yeah.
Like, we put out a great game in Hi-Fi Rush. It sells really well. We close down, and they don't give us Game of the Year awards, and we're sitting there going, okay, well, I guess we close down the studio.
Well, time to close down the studio, but I got to find another job again.
That's really what it feels like. Is it feels like why would we bother doing this?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter. But yeah. Josh, you played video games this week. So
I have played video games. Although I have played more Animal Well.
You also played a game that I'm going to make fun of you for.
I was going to say, how did you know I played Flip Witch?
Okay, so here's how I know is because, okay, Josh, I'm going to show you something. My Xbox is off. Okay. So right now I'm invisible, but I'm in a talk with you, okay? Let me load up a video game for you.
Oh, Discord. I get it.
Okay.
Discord did it. Oh, because I was like, Steam has it on. Steam has it so you can purchase it and be anonymous.
Yeah.
But oh, I forgot.
There's a reason why when I play Subverse, I just don't I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Is because I'm like, man, I don't want you guys knowing that I'm actually like playing porn games that are actually okay.
Well, too late.
Yep.
Too late. Oh, you know what? I just realized I should change the status of our chat room to playing porn games. There we go.
I fucking hate you. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna be sending my D&D group and they're gonna be like, so what porn games did you play this week? I'm gonna go,
well, I played a little bit of Flip Witch, and it actually has somewhat quality to it. It's not as like, oh, this is going to be a really crappy Flash game from that so happened to have porn in it. This one actually feels like it has somewhat of a expected curve to the Metroidvania formula to like, oh, this does have Metroidvania stuff in it, Plus, there has so happened to be porn stuff in it, so it's like it's actually good to some degree.
This is
I still have to play more of it just to make sure it's like, okay, is it at least a 7 or an 8 or something? Because I'm just curious at this point.
This is the game equivalent of how do I put this?
Yeah.
This is the game. So okay, I'm just gonna explain to people. I own this game. I bought this game. Because I was like, man, I kind of want to try this game out. It's really, it's an interesting idea.
It's highly rated too.
It is fucking overwhelmingly positive.
Yep.
And the reason why I found out about it was because of Scarlet Maiden.
Yep.
Which is a game that Josh talked about.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, whatever. And like, there's this thing that's becoming really apparent and evident of like really good fucking video games that are fucking adult oriented and porn.
Yep. They're finally, people are figuring out if you put polish on it and not just the porn, people will probably appreciate it more. Which, go figure. Like the porn stuff on top of it, like thumbs up, sure.
Like it's like, oh well, you're actually going to play this game that's actually like, hey, incredibly lewd, and then while you're playing it, you're going to be like, oh my god, this is like super well polished. Do they fucking trade Drysidle? Oh my god. Okay. Okay, good. We're fine. Drysidle did not get traded.
Oh, thank God.
Well, like basically what's been happening is like you'll be like looking on Steam, and it'll be like, here's a game that's marked for adults, and you're like, I'd play that. I'd actually fucking play this, no fucking joke. And then you're like, what makes it adult? And then you're like, oh my god, there's like naked women and cocks and balls
and buttholes
and lots of anal sex.
Oh my.
And it's like okay, like you have games like Orc Massage and this game, and you're like, okay, there's something weird's going on, and I don't know how I feel about it. But I'm just going to read the opening blurb. Sorry for it. Explore world plunged into chaos, dripping in lewdness and sexual encounters. Use your newly acquired gender-bending abilities as a flip witch to defeat evil monsters, giant bosses, and complete the quest for a cast of unique and colorful characters. Adventure through magical forests, deserted dungeons, and slimy citadels on your quest to defeat the evil Chaos Witch who corrupted the world into darkness and left a curse on the villagers and monsters. Save them from these ailments, and you'll be rewarded with a fully animated H content. And that's basically like what is basically said. Like, hey, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the game so far, what I played, I beat the first boss.
Mm-hmm.
And I so far haven't got to the flip witch part. But because of my years of gaming, I'm just going to assume it's going to be one of those, because you can flip between, you're going to flip between two genders. Your genders are gonna do things where the male side could do stuff and the female side could do stuff, and then also platforming involving you flipping back and forth between genders to get onto platforms and such. Mm-hmm. So like a game like, oh god, there's so many games like that idea about flipping back and forth between a color. I think what was that? Shift? I think it was called Shift.
There was
that was one. Yeah, it's like one of the OG games about that concept of like going back and forth between different colors, trying to get to the one point of platformer of this point that you're trying to get to is a bit difficult to get to.
There's also that bullet hell game that I can't remember the name of, for the love of God.
Ikaruga?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is also all about shifting your colors and not getting. You can absorb the bullets of the same color, but you can't not take the bullets of the opposite color in any way. But if you keep flipping between them, you can do it. And yeah, like so far, like the idea is not mind-bogglingly, you know, absurd. Like it's not mind-boggling. Like, oh, this is crazy or anything. And so far, it's like it's traditional. It's fine. And so far, like I just want to get far as I can to get like the full breadth of what this game has to offer, and then go, all right, I think I got it.
I understand this game now.
I understand. Goon Cave.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Like,
actually, funny enough, when I was playing the game, I was actually like trying to figure out when is to the point where I'll just see a full blown sex scene.
Yeah.
And I was playing it, and I'm like, well, I see topless people and maybe a few people that are naked, but I was like, there's no porn anywhere. And then finally, when I lost to the boss, because I wasn't like prepared to figure out what the boss is going to be doing, so I lost to the boss, and then the loser screen is the porn. And I'm like, oh, there it is. I'm like, there's the pornography. It took me a while to get there, but but yeah, like, took me, I don't know, 30 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to get there. But yeah, I was like, I don't know. I have to keep pushing, keep playing it, and see what else this game has to offer, because it looks like there's more content.
Get ready, boys and girls, for more bullshit where we're talking about sex video games.
Hooray!
Aren't you excited?
Get ready.
All we're going to be doing is talking about how porn is great.
Porn is not evil. Although, if you have a weird porn addiction, you can get help. That exists.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, and also I played more Animal Well. The Big Mode game, it's the first game that published by Big Mode, and Animal Well is, like I think I've said this last week, of it's Fez but better. And I'm actually getting to the point of almost finishing Animal Well. I still have to complete one or two more puzzles, and then I think I finally finished Animal Well.
You will be done with Animal Well.
I think I would be done with Animal Well. Although funny enough, it looks like an Animal Well that you are meant to play it multiple times. I think. Although I'll just first figure out these puzzles, and then I'll go and complete the game and see what the hell that looks like. Because at the same time, I was getting stumped by one or two puzzles, just simply because of like, okay, I know there's a chest in this room, or I know I'm supposed to be doing something over here or over there, but I don't have a clue of what you're supposed to do. So I've been looking up some spoiler list clues, and there's a few puzzles that are like, all right, this room, it has dogs jumping towards a bowl. In the center of the room, it has grass coming out of it. And I have the remote control, and the remote control, if you hit the button on it, it also is kind of dependent on where you are in the screen a little bit. But if you hit the button, usually it will tell you, hey, there's a chest over here in this screen, in the screen that you're in. And I can see the chest. I know it's there, and I'm in this room, but I have zero idea how I'm supposed to get it. I look around other adjacent rooms. I look around. Maybe there's like a way to teleport in there or something. And I was like, I just could not figure this out. And finally, I had to look online. And one of the clues was like, this is something you have to do in real life. And I'm like, okay, sure, but I still don't get what you mean. Until finally I look at it again and I went, oh my fucking God, it's a barcode. It's a barcode. You scan it, you get numbers from it, and those numbers are adjacent to your flutes. And then you play your flute and you open up a door and you get your chest. So I was like, oh God.
What is this
Luckily,
game?
What is this game? Although funny enough, this is so far like the least, if talking okay, like on the bar of like games doing like really clever puzzles like Portal, and then games that are doing like absurdly, oh, you gotta solve this. First, you got to solve this puzzle to solve the secondary puzzle to go to the third puzzle. Then you come back to the first puzzle and you solve the whole puzzle. That type of shit. I would say that's Fez category.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, you got to, you see the runes, but you don't know what they mean. But you see a fox jump over a dog and you go, I don't get, you go, I don't quite get.
Understand, but I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, you go, I don't get why this quick brown fox is jumping over the lazy dog. And you're like, oh, hold on.
Now suddenly I get it.
Yeah, exactly. And so like I would say Fez is on the far end of that spectrum of like you kind of have to do some bullshit in real life in order to figure out what you need to do in the video game to solve the puzzle. And I would say Animal Well is leaning way more on the other side of the spectrum where there's one or two puzzles that you might have to go to real life to figure out the puzzle, but it's like even then it's like it's only one or two puzzles, not like 5 or 6. So it's like, oh, this is least abrasive of that. So that's pretty good. It's all pretty much contained in this own unit, which I appreciate. And also the more further I look into it online, there is an ARG to go with it. If you're a fan of ARGs, though, that exists. Although I have no idea where you would start with the ARGs with this game, but hey, it exists.
That's good.
Yeah. And yeah, so I got a little bit to do in it, and then I think I've quote unquote finished Animal Well.
You're done?
Almost.
Oh, that's good.
I'm getting like 99%, like probably 90% there.
That's good.
Yeah.
So
I actually got all items and all eggs. I gotta do the little bit left and then I'm done.
So I played another game this week.
Oh.
As well?
Yeah.
You're probably gonna go like, holy shit, why did you play this horrible game?
I mean, everyone has their why did you play this horrible game game.
Okay, we have like 2 more topics. Both of them are mine, so we'll do the game first. Josh, I played 2 Human.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should be insulted or not.
Okay.
Because I remember this game coming out and everyone being like, "Oh man, 2 Human, it's going to be great, man. Silco Knights, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so great." And then it came out and then was trash. And then Silicon Knights sued Epic, and then they got disbanded, and then that game became super ultra rare.
It got super ultra rare because it was ordered to be destroyed at all the locations that had it for sale.
Yeah.
So, funny thing is, back in the day, who bought it? I'm trying to remember. I think my brother Joe bought it because he was kind of in that hype at that time. And we were playing it and playing it and playing it. And then we were just getting No, sorry. I think now I remember we rented it.
Yeah.
Because we heard so much about it, and we're like, all right, so let's play this game. It's all about this, like, you know, Norse mythology, but set in sci-fi sort of setting, and we're playing it for like the first, I guess, the hour, and then we're just like, man, this game is like, you know, really takes its time with the story and whatnot, because everything is just so like epic
It's
at every
12
degree.
hours.
Yeah.
In a game series that, like, the main quest usually took 9 hours to complete.
Yeah.
And, like, you'd be like, oh, so with side content it's like 40 hours, and to do everything it's like 50.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah. Okay, man, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
That game looks like trash.
Yeah.
It looks so bad.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
think even at the time
It
I
looks
was like,
bad
it's
then.
not great. Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, holy shit. Because okay, so here's the thing with Two Human. Okay.
Oh, did you like your stick mashing?
Oh, it's just wonderful.
You just tick 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 tick
Pretty
tick.
much, right?
Yeah.
So, like, here's the thing with that game is like so it's built by Silicon Knights, who went out of business, who were the ones who originally created Legacy of Kain.
Yep.
That's one of their big claim to fames is they made Legacy of Kain. And this was like their first foray onto Xbox. Like, so it's an Xbox published title. Oh wait, hold on. Okay. Apparently they had their website's still up, but you get an HTTP 500. It was originally in like their key peoples. It was like Dennis Dyack, who I believe went on to work on with like Shadows of Eternals and then Quantum Entanglement and Apocalypse Studios. He worked on like X-Men Destiny, Two Human, Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, Eternal Darkness, Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain, Dark Legions, Fantasy Empires, and Cyber Empires. So he's pretty cool.
Cool.
Silicon Knights as a company though made like a bunch of really fucking good games.
Yeah.
Two Human is probably their worst. It is. When they were designing the game, they were like, I remember watching interviews and they were like, yes, we have stick combat. The combat is
stick combat.
Yeah, the combat is done via stick controls. And you're like, okay. And you're like, that sounds interesting. That sounds cool. And that was sold as a selling feature.
Yep.
And they're like, and like, it's a Norse mythology game. And you're like, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah. This game was originally like announced for like the Nintendo GameCube.
Oh wow!
Like it was.
That's why it looked like trash.
Yeah. So like the game comes out on the Xbox, and it looks fucking dog shit.
Yep.
Like it looks really bad. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. The voice acting is well done. The story and character designs are really interesting. The game looks cool. And it's like, man, like, Two Human is a game that, like, really should just, like, really just needs a rework. Like, top to fucking bottom just needs a complete and total rework. If somebody was like, hey, we're going to remake Two Human, and we're going to make it good this time. Like, that would be cool. Because that game, like, it has fundamental problems, and it's all the combat. And it's the graphics. And you're like, you're looking at the UI, and you're like, why does the A button look like somebody just took a PNG and threw it in this game? It just looks bad. And, like, this is the same game that, like, at that time, you had games like Assassin's Creed coming out. And they look better. you had games like Mass Effect 2 coming up and Mass Effect 1 coming out, and they look so much fucking better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like every single, it's like, man, I really want to care about this game. And it's like, I'm going to play through it, I'm going to finish it, and I'm going to hate my life for it. But holy fucking shit, man. Like,
oh god, I want to say I played that game for a fair bit, trying to get, like, you know, at the time I was all about those Chivos.
Mm-hmm. This is before this is before you were like deep into Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, was I how I was gonna say, I know there was a time frame where I was into Pokemon, which I was a lot younger, got out of Pokemon, then I went back into Pokemon later. And Too Human was, yeah, like right around the Xbox 360 era. I was pretty much like just going through it and like just trying to achievement horror myself to victory. Although there was one or two games where, man, it just pissed me off to no end, trying to get these achievements in certain games because I set it to like way too hard, but I was like, I gotta get these fucking Chivos. What else? Oh, and also actually, what was the Journey to the West game that was for the 360? I think it was called.
I own it on PC. Hold on.
Yeah.
If I could spell. Enslaved, Odyssey to the West.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god. This game is so old that the Steam... Okay, you know how Steam has, like, the cover arts?
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's so old that it has, like, that old school cover art. It's weird. Whenever I find a game like that, I'm always like...
Oh, this is old. Oh.
I'm in for a treat.
Oh. Yep.
But this is a game that's made by... This is a game that literally is based on the Dragon Ball story.
Yep. And Journey to the, like, it's that classic story of like there's a prince, there's the monkey prince, trying to protect the actual prince to get to like point A to point B. And throughout this whole story of a game, I remember playing on the hardest difficulty and then chugging through this game, and I was almost finished with it. It was just that the last, I think it was like the last like boss fight room thing just had just most asinine bullshit going on. And also I was fighting against crashes. The game would crash like, oh man, like anytime I was like getting anywhere, felt like the game was just on the urge of crashing. And I was like, man, my God, this fucking piece of shit of game. And funny thing is, people would like go, oh yeah, Enslaved was a pretty good game. I'm like, did you play the same game I did? Like, this thing was trash. I hated it. I mean, although if I were to play it on easier difficulties, I may have a better time with it. But at the same time, the game crashing all the time did not seem to help matters any much more.
I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Is like that game is like something where it's like if it was remade, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, Too Human was a game that had a missed opportunity.
It did.
And it was like, and they were like, well, you know what? Let's not worry about it. Let's just not deal with this issue. And you're like, but it's cool and awesome, and there's interesting aspects about it. And then they're like, yeah, let's not worry about it. Yeah.
Let's not worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 achievements in the Enslave Journey to the West that are under 2%.
Sounds about right.
Which is like kind of like I've heard of some games having like, you know, a couple of percentage low, like 2% to 5% low percentage, but under 2% is kind of insane. Yeah, like who in the hell is going to play this 360 title anymore?
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Is like that is one of those games where it's like, man, Gears of War and like succeeded. And this was the game that like Microsoft's like constantly like, hey, let's conveniently forget that this game exists. And it's like, man, you guys pushed this so hard. And like, I don't even remember like what made me like think of it. I'm like, oh, I should trick this out and try it again. Maybe it was like, man, it'd be so cool if I could augment myself. I'd be great.
Yeah.
Because like, okay, so the voice acting in the game is perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm playing the game, and I'm like, this game is great. And then I like actually play the game, I'm like, oh.
Oh no.
Oh. But
Oh.
yeah.
Oh no.
And it's like, man, it reminds me of like Mark Zuckerberg. Playing it reminds me of Mark Zuckerberg and how he's such a bitch. Josh.
Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, have you heard actually the recent controversy with Mr. Not Mark Zuckerberg? It's
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Oh, your analysis that you hate because he took away your platform of choice.
No, it's just
that you came back to, I might add.
I never left. That's the thing. I just have two of them now.
I have Blue Sky.
One's better than the other. One's just better than the other.
I have Blue Sky, which is full of pedos, and I hate it. And I have Twitter, which is full of right wingers, and I hate it.
I have a lot better. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I have a lot better viewing pleasure than yours. I don't know what the hell you're viewing, but okay.
Mine is like my Blue Sky. I go on there and I'm like, it's all game industry people being like, oh my god, right wingers are like so against us. We should like make our game shittier. And I'm like,
no, please, no, that's not. No, that's not the idea here.
I know that you're retarded, but 15,000 job loss is not enough, eh?
Yeah,
and they're like, but it won't be me. And you're like, but what if it is? And what if this is the reason why?
I want to go back to why the recent Elon Musk controversy is that him playing Path of Exile 2 and him supposedly getting to a high ranking in Path of Exile and him showing like, oh, look at me being all hardcore with my character. And he's fumbling every fucking step of the way of how you're supposed to play that fucking game. Mm-hmm. And he's supposedly like number 4, number 5 on the fucking leaderboard in hardcore. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, you wouldn't be fumbling over anything because you'd be so proficient at that video game. So it's just like, oh, he clearly paid someone to get to the point that he's at.
No fucking shit.
Like, oh, and also everyone's calling to what was it, the last time he was like playing a video game at hardcore levels, it was Diablo 4.
Yeah.
And then people were kind of like pulling similarities from that, going like, yeah, he's not, but although he said that he's super high hardcore in that, and then he got super high in there too, then people are like, wait, did you just cheat on that too? Did you just pay another fucker to do your work? Like like the biggest fucking I don't know, like hoser on this face of this earth of like, you say you're trying to keep up this image of like, no, I must have everyone like me, so therefore I gotta show that I'm a pro gamer. But then you fumble it so hard. It's like, I think people have more respect for you if you're like, hey, I want to check this game out on a hardcore level, so I got this account from a friend of mine, and I'm just gonna make sure I don't fumble anything too bad and just power through shit. That would have been more acceptable. Like, if he just didn't, if he just like, or hell, just started the game brand new like a normal person. But no, he's a fucking tool.
I mean,
complete and utter tool.
Is this really an issue?
It's just infuriating because he says he's badass and then he's like garbage.
Bad video games. Yeah. Okay.
But another thing is like it's more of like if this loser was gonna pay someone else to play his video games for him, like then why are you saying that you're good at it? Like, come on.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. When you're that rich, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah. It's just so annoying that he just tries to show off, like, yeah, look how fucking cool I am, and he again just fumbles every step of the way, and it's like, you're such a dutz. Mm-hmm. Like, holy.
Anyways, speaking of people that we don't like, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yep.
He pissed everyone off.
Yep. Like he usually does.
Yep. He came out recently and he said, okay, so we're going to take the ideas that X has and we're going to expand on them. And everybody was like, that's a horrible idea, X. Why would you do that?
You know, as we do.
Yeah. And now it's like, so what are you doing, Mark Zuckerberg? And he's like, so we hired a bunch of fact checkers and all of the fact checkers were wrong. And then the fact checkers were like, that is false. We were never wrong. And Mark Zuckerberg's like, we recognize that we were very politically, like, we were very bad when it came to political bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And Biden came out and goes like, come on, man. I'm really disappointed about that, man.
Uh-huh.
So it's like
they did say something about like their fact checkers are like they're going to be crowdsourced or something.
Yeah, so they're going to do some crowdsourcing on the fact checking,
which is probably good and or bad. It's hard to say.
Yeah, but it's like every single time it just was like, "Hey, Mark, yeah, I have a couple questions to ask you. What the fuck were you doing?" And he goes, well, and it's like, okay, Mark, I can't believe you. Okay? I can't honestly believe you when you sit there and you say like, well, everything's going to be better. We're going to change some things. And, like, I just gotta be honest, man. Like, we're gonna make things better, and it's like, okay, Mark, I think you're a fair weather friend. I don't think you're an actual friend here. Like, I understand what you're saying. I understand that you want to change, but, buddy, like, please, like,
buddy pal, buddy,
like, please don't do this, man. Please stop. And it's just like, well, I just think, and it's like, Mark, you're perfectly fine. We all respect you. We think you're a good person. But we have a problem, like, with how you're acting. And, like, you didn't change anything now. You're doing this literally to get into the good graces of conservatives. And it's obvious. It's just kind of like the most scumbag thing in the world. And yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. I think that, like, right now, as people go, like, Mark Zuckerberg is one of those people where it's like, man, I want to feel like I still use Facebook every now and then.
I use it just to check on people, and that's it.
Yeah. And like I talk to my parents and my family and stuff like that, but like I call them and I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is what's going on. And they're like, Rare. This is what's happening.
For Christmas, we're not going anywhere today. We're not going anywhere this year.
Pretty much, right.
Fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, like, I understand like where like I understand like where people are like, hey, don't you think that like maybe we should do? And it's like, how about we stop? Like, how about we stop and talk and like actually like do things and change things to actually improve things? And how about instead of like constantly running down this mile of like dumpster fire where everybody's like politically correct and has to be like a fucking piece of shit, we go, maybe now we go, maybe there's a problem in our society. Maybe there's a societal problem that we have to fix. And maybe part of that problem is something that like we can easily like move on from. But it's like, Mark, what you're doing doesn't help us. It's very it's very obvious that you're the issue here. And yeah. So.
Well. You think anything will take over Facebook at this point? Like anything?
I think they took out their biggest competition in Instagram.
Yeah. Although there is several times where I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, there is people who are actively just will never go to Facebook.
Yeah.
And yeah. And like, I'm sure that's really digging into their bottom line.
I use Facebook for like Messenger.
Yeah.
And like, it's very popular with like my friends. It's very popular with a lot of my friends. Like, they're not necessarily all going to be like, hey, let's hop on Discord and stuff like that. Like, for me, it's like, I feel like as if as a game platform and a place to talk, it's perfect. Serves all those needs great. But like, for people like my mom and dad, it's like more than enough for them. And they're not necessarily going to hop on Twitter and start like talking to me about like political stuff and looking at that stuff. I feel like as if a lot of the issues that Facebook faces is like, I feel like a lot of the issues that Facebook has is like mainly tied to like the algorithm and how the algorithm works, and like just for like meme shit posting and stuff like that.
Yeah. I know for certain, because of the, I think simply because the invention of the algorithm and like trying to shove shit down our throat of remotely what you're into / we've got to try to sell you ads, whatever. I think the advent of that kind of ruined a lot of the internet. And I don't know. I just think that, hey, this could be I think the internet could be a hell of a lot better if it didn't have all this gung-ho about fucking algorithm this and algorithm that.
Well, like, yeah, like, really at the end of the day, like, this is one of my issues with Blue Sky is, like, I go on Blue Sky, and it's like, the algorithm really pisses me off. Because it's like, okay, at least on X, like, the algorithm is like, there's a For You tab, and then I can click over and be like, hey, I want to see who I'm following. And it's chronological, like, as balls. And it's like, okay, like, at least I can see, like, the latest, like, Max Cool veto tweet, the latest clown card community note violations and stuff like that. And they're all relatively within, like, the last, like, 15, 20 minutes. Whereas, like, the For You tab, it's like, okay, well, here's a tweet from, like, 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 8 hours ago. And it's like, okay, with, like, Blue Sky, I go on there, and it's like, I follow all my favorite YouTubers. and it's like, hey man, here's a live stream, and it's like, okay, and I go to X, and it's like, that was like at the bottom of the page, and it was like the live stream I watched like literally 15 minutes ago. Like, I don't know, man. I have issues with that site. And like, I think that like if there was a chronological order option, that'd be great. That'd benefit a lot more of the place, if that makes sense.
Yeah. If they just literally just had a chronological order Twitter, then it'd probably be cooler to use or a little better to use. Mm-hmm. Although it's funny because with me and like I just simply have uBlock Origin on fucking every device I have.
Yeah.
And all that, and also trying to use Twitter. Actually, I have uBlock Origin on everything, and I use Twitter through Firefox on my phone. Mm-hmm. So I just don't get fed a crazy fuck ton of ads every fucking time I try to use a fucking anything on the internet, mm-hmm. which is nice. Because, man, there's so many times where I've seen Moist Critical try to do anything on the internet, and he goes through websites without an ad blocker because he has a reason to do that, and I forget why. Mm-hmm. But it's just, it goes to show, like, these websites you go to for like basic news, it's like borderline impossible to try to see what you want.
Yeah.
It's like, how did we get here? Like, holy shit.
Well, like, part of the issue is like we all became hyper partisan.
Yeah.
And like,
how do we make revenue on this website? Well, ads. Okay, we'll shove ads on the screen, but
and then like you look at like the thing that was happening in Canada. One of the major things that was happening in Canada was we were going, well, we could, and just hear me out, we could subsidize our news services. And then what ended up happening was all of our news services started like, instead of like being like Trudeau's doing this wrong and this is what's going on and being hard hitting, they started all being like, oh no, like if we go against Trudeau, that might cutting into our revenue and funding. We better not do anything of the sort. So it became a lot more promiscuous per se. And like now you have like a lot more citizen journalism. It's very obvious that there's a lot more citizen journalism. And like that's kind of what kind of started all of this, is like, hey, the news is not going to inform you about things. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Fucking God. Fuck everything.
Fuck everything, man. Burn it all down.
Fuck everything. I think the famous line from the poet DMX, fuck everything, fuck what you heard.
Pretty much. Anyways, I think that's a podcast.
Yeah, I think that's a podcast.
I'm going to go take my dog for another walk, and then I'm going to go to bed.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I've been going to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like,
every time on the weekend, I'm like, oh, it's the weekend. What? I'm playing video games and stuff, and I'll look over the clock. It's like 2 a.m. I'm like, oh, no.
So I went to bed at like, I fell asleep at like 3 o'clock, and I woke up at noon today, and I was like, oh, I actually feel really good.
Yeah.
But like, I have also like cut back dramatically on like drinking coffee and caffeine. So
that's probably going to help you quite a bit.
So I cut back on, what did I do? So I dropped, before I used to drink Red Bull.
Right.
Now I'm like, okay, like I'll have a hot chocolate.
Yeah.
And I'll have like 2 Diet Pepsis in the morning to help me wake up. My goal
is there still caffeine? Is there still caffeine in Diet Pepsi? Huh. Okay.
So it's like, okay, like maybe I need to do something in order to like get that kind of straightened out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna. Oh, and also I'm gonna talk to my dad, who's like try to like see if I can go back to. Well, I'm gonna try to talk to like my dad and see like if anything's going on, and I'm also gonna try to talk to my doctor and see what he thinks if like there's anything wrong with me, so that way then I can be like, yes, I'm actually feeling great. Because yeah.
Whoopee.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you everyone for listening to the Black Mind Games podcast. You can listen to us every Thursday on blackmindgames.podbean.com. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. Thank you, Josh. And
Yep.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye.
Desire grips, virtual screams arise. Neon lights up, flash corrupt. Violence blast collides. Simulated hearts collide. Synthetic love on demand. Touch the screen, lose your soul in this twisted digital land. Simulated hearts collide. Synthetic love on demand. Touch the screen, lose your soul in this twisted digital land. Synthetic ecstasy, the electric shocks the light. Fantastic blink the screen, numbing souls take flight. Eternal lust, unleashed, virtual debauchery feast. There's a nice, twisted code in the dark almighty road. Seduction coded light, desire's trap we can't define. And whispers in your ear, level lost, it's never clear. Disconnected from what's real, a virtual kiss, a heart to steal. The lines of code now rule the game. Who we are, we can reclaim. Eternal lust, unleashed, virtual debauchery feast. There's a vice, twisted code in the dark almighty road. Young gods, faithful queens, living out fragmented dreams, lost inside this electric maze, burning bright in a simulated haze. Tap the keys, break the chains. Is this love or is it pain? Space divine, hearts divine. Digital lust devours the mind. Digital lust, unleashed, virtual debauchery feast. There's a vice, twisted code in the dark almighty road. Digital lust, a dream decay. Souls trapped in this masquerade. Screen face, but the hunger stays. Taking desires in electric waves. Digital lost, it's all we crave. In this world with many, we're the slaves.
I am recording right now.
Now my audio recording's on.
It's just
And I just want to repeat the pills here. That's it. That's everything.
I just like how I work out, and I feel like like
I should definitely do some sort of activity than no activity. So I have to look into getting my Dance Dance Revolution back on again. It's literally the only thing I can think of where I felt like I was, doing a fun activity while I I just extremely hate working out in general, like in gyms and shit, just simply because every time I see that, I just go, if I had the money, I will just buy the shit and bring it home. Because why would I want to go outside? Like, ever. So, and also, it's like, if I'm just not a lazy asshole, I could just do a lot of exercise just myself. It's like, I don't have to pay anyone. But I'm a lazy asshole. So I'm not gonna go to a fucking gym. So the thing that like it feels like I have to be tricked in order to working out. So I'm like, all right. So I guess I just.
So here's what I do is like I work out during lunch.
Yeah.
And then I run, and then I'm like, everything's great. And then I stop, go to bed, and I'm like, everything's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then I realized how horrible of a mistake I made.
I hate the human body. It requires so much maintenance. I hate it.
I mean, I'm just like hoping, like I'm hoping that they're like, because like, I'm hoping that they're like, yes, you should do stretching, you fucking idiot. Because I don't stretch during my workouts.
I mean, that's just for your own painful,
yeah.
You know, your muscles are not used to it type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to talk to them and be like, yo, like, randomly areas of my body start hurting, and I don't know why.
Mm.
And they're probably going to be like, you're having aches and pains. So, who knows? Oh yeah, and I also have to like fucking send documents into the Canadian government now because they're like, hey, you know your house? I'm like, yeah. They're like, motherfucker, you might get fined. I'm like, why? Because you falsified documents. I never falsified documents.
But how? Which document?
The document that allowed me in order to take out money out of my account, my savings account.
Okay.
So they're like, yeah, we think that you did something. We might penalize you. So I'm like, here you go. Here's my stuff. And they might be like, this is how much money you're actually this is how much money you actually have to donate to your account in order to pay it back on time. So so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Anyways, shall we sync?
Oh, should. Hold on. Yeah. It's okay. See the wavy lines. We're good.
Sync in 3, 2, 1.